Now, here's the thing. The origins of Polynesia came out of Turkey. I know people might be thinking, if they watch this video, I've done heaps of videos, okay? So I know people might think, man, this guy is going crazy, nuts with what he's talking about. But I take advice from everyone they say. I'm going way back. And I'm starting to realize, like, when I did my studies, that there's this tribe of these people called Zete Kun, whatever you call them, and they originated in East Asia. And when I was doing more and more research about it, I finally found out that the story of Maui is very, very similar to the story that's been told in Greece. Very similar. I might do another video just to show how similar Maui, the story of Maui, is to Greece. And the reason why I did this is because while I was researching the giant mounds,
Our way to Mound 72, and this one is kind of important because it has been excavated. It was excavated in the 1960s and the 1970s, and the portions of all three mounds have been excavated.
and the more I studied about the mounds, and I was like researching, and I found out that through my research that in the Americas they would bury a lot of people with the royal high caste people would be buried together, like in this video.
The first mound contained a burial
Yeah,
of an
see,
important individual who
important.
was laid out on a bed of shell beads in the shape of a bird. The mound also contained
And the ship
several other burials that seem to have been sacrificial offerings along with other grave goods. Among those were several hundred arrowheads of fine workmanship,
Now I'm not
and
gonna
they were
go.
separated into distinct
I'm not
categories.
gonna go through the whole video. You guys have to read, watch it yourself. But I'm going to. It's just piecing everything together. So that's the website if you want to check it out. And the more I was researching the America's mounds and how they do their sacrifice and everything, I wanted to see how similar it was within Micronesia, if it was the same thing. So you can check out the website. I found this out.
And even discovered unexplored crypts which he named the Royal Tombs.
Royal
As he
tombs. Watch
recorded
this.
in his work, all the tombs we explored were filled with coral. Everywhere we found remnants of human bones and very primitive ornaments,
Yeah, see, look.
bracelets and necklaces, implements, stone
Look how similar it is to this culture right here.
axes, and so
Stone
on.
axes and
The
so on.
shells of a spondylus species, pierced at the hinge and used as chest ornaments, were strongly represented. They were put in great numbers with the dead in the
Look at that.
tomb, and they appear to have been a special testimony to the piety of the natives.
See, look at that. Very similar to the Americas, right? And what? And this made me question whether this is similar within Polynesia. And when I try to find pyramids within Polynesia, I found this out, especially about the statue, what this guy was saying about it. Ufra Man, dating back to Turkey, 9000 BC. So, what I'm starting to realize is that when I was reading the comment section, he was saying how in ancient Tahiti, the potential connection to Easter Island and Gobiti Teepee. Okay? And let's listen to what he says.
This life-size statue of a human ever discovered, and it was found not far from Göbekli Tepe and is considered to be contemporary with Göbekli Tepe, about 10,000 years old or so. Now, some of the T-pillars from Göbekli Tepe
I'm gonna do.
also have
I
their
will do
hand
my research on this one right here. This guy's talking about in Turkey.
around their navel, as we see here in this recreation of one of the enclosures of Göbekli Tepe recreated in the Urfa Museum. But if you spend the day exploring the Urfa Museum, you'll find other
Look at this.
artifacts recovered from Göbekli Tepe and associated sites that also express this same artistic motif with their hands meeting
There,
around their
look
navel.
at that.
On Easter Island, there are
Look at that.
nearly 1,000 moai that have been found, and they all have their hands meeting around their.
And do you realize when you look at their features, they do not look Negroid. They do not look like black men. They do not look like Fijians or Africans. Have you realized that? And then this made me go back to this video over here. This man over here, what he was talking about. And it made me realize how close Turkey is to Cyprus, to Greece, right? There is a connection to Greece. And there is also a connection to Greece to the language over here. And what this guy was saying is spoken by the Americans, Native Americans. So the Native Americans actually speak the same language. I won't go too much detail about it, but I'll pretty much show where he was talking about it.
lecture hall, so it was really like a university. Had classrooms,
There.
scholars, and students, and all
So
seeking answers to the
Rita
great
and
mystery
Maui.
of the world. It was said that anyone passing through Alexandria was required to surrender any scripts or scrolls or maps or
I'll just go through it.
decided that Aristocratus was actually right.
This is really interesting because he
And
talks.
he calculated it'd be larger.
He talks about how that story, the story of Maui. How Maui. This is an explanation. You should watch it, but I'm not showing you the video for that. I'm showing you the video for this.
Philippine Islands and circumference. The only logical inscription tip of the Earth's axis, and it would be the Torquetum that Maui or Aristophanes developed to measure longitude. So since Maui was set upon this expedition to test Aristophanes' calculation that the Earth was round and to measure its actual circumference, the only logical observation and findings would indicate a knowledge of the tip of the Earth's axis and the declination of heavenly bodies. A doctor
over here, cave drawing.
that named Sentinel Rommel constructed a model from brass from the design of the cave. This is the 1990s, and because of its inclined datum plane and the tilt of the axis, it was incapable of petroglyphs.
And
so there's an Egyptian dog complete with crown and flail whip, a depiction
that's
of
Native
Anubis,
America right here,
the Egyptian god, and Ra, another Egyptian hieroglyph. So that appears in a lot of American Indian carvings. Was in America at the time that these carvings are accompanied by very Egyptian hieroglyphic style symbols.
Egyptian.
Just some thoughts here. Could the westbound fleet, upon discovering there was no passages across America, tried to cross overland? Perhaps they.
Nah. If I put everything together, what everyone is saying in these videos, I feel like there might be a connection to the origins of the Polynesian people coming from over here. If you watch that video, he says that they speak this language over here, Amena. That's the Native Americans, right? And my thoughts is that Maui and must have traveled not by boat, but he must have went through all these areas over here. His ancestors, whoever they are, into Siberia, right over here, and following the path into the Americas.